OutKick The Tailgate, presented by Farmfolio. We are live in Knoxville, Tennessee. Bobby Carpenter back with us, Jonathan Hutton, Jill Savage. Pretty awesome stuff. Great crowd out here so far. Beautiful scene with the water behind us. Everything is going right so far, guys.
Oh, it's been fantastic. It's warming up, so I know you're feeling a little bit better. Got that sun on your back.
I'm good.
Feeling good. It's shaping up to be a great day. To me, this is college football weather. You can smell the leaves. Got a little crispness in the air. Absolutely fantastic.
Can we make Chad even more jealous by bragging about today?
We should. Yeah, we should start a list. We should start texting him all at the same time and let him know what he's missing out on with his alma mater. Here, Paxton's back. It's a big deal. And you know what else we have going on right now is the Farmfolio Fact or Fiction, my favorite segment each weekend. And we are going to start in the college football playoff rankings because that is basically what they make us do with their TV show, their little drama fest that they have every week, every Tuesday night. So let's start with Fact or Fiction. Michigan deserves to be ahead of Michigan State this week. Bobby?
Well, based upon what the committee has told us and the fact that we're supposed to believe that head-to-head matters and all these different things, and then all of a sudden, well, it's like, well, if it's head-to-head, if it's close in proximity as far as the game times, but wait a second, it was just like the last game that they won. Now, I understand Michigan controlled it, and Michigan State had to battle back, but to me, the TV show element of it comes into play in a huge way. It's the first time where we haven't just done the final 6, we've done the final 7. And so as you sit there and you look at that, like, that's 7 boxes sitting there. That must mean that they're going to flip this and keep Michigan State ahead. I'm like, no, I bet they're going to drop them, and they'll find some reason to do it. And ultimately, that's what they've done. I think Michigan State should be ahead of Michigan. I think head-to-head matters. It was close. You know, Michigan State lost. It was to a Purdue team that's pretty decent. You know, it ended up being a 2-score game, but it was pretty close throughout most of it. And I don't think Michigan's looked to be overwhelming. And if they judge you by quality wins, Michigan State has a much better win over Michigan than Michigan does over anyone else.
Okay, so this is BS, okay? But we all acknowledge that it is. Why is Oregon ranked where they are? Because they beat Ohio State, okay?
That was a long time ago.
Head-to-head apparently matters there, right? Like we've seen them play.
Don't say that too loud to Bobby right here. Come on.
It's Buckeyes. We always point to that. Michigan State beats Michigan 2 weeks ago. And the Wolverines are ranked ahead of them after 1 loss. Like, why have head-to-head? You can't argue that head-to-head matters when the committee does that. And it's simply it's for TV, it's for drama, it's for the, it's for the reality show that is these rankings week to week. Ultimately, it's going to play out. Everyone acknowledges that part too. It's worth discussing though because these guys get into a room, they spend their day deciding how to rank this, and then I believe in the conspiracy of ESPN comes in and says, okay, how can we make this a better TV show? And they put Michigan State behind Michigan.
Well, they added
after we saw them beat them.
It just happened.
They added a 7th box.
Yeah.
I know.
Why add the 7th box? Here's the point where I'm at with it. And Gary Barta, had statements. He's like, we just don't look at the box scores. We watch all the games. It comes out like really condescendingly, like, hey, we look at this, we watch it, we have all the information. Like, first of all, no one's watching all the games. Let's be honest about that because all of you have other jobs. Yeah. Gary, you're I believe the AD at Iowa. You have other responsibilities. That's why you really should have people who this is their job. Get them on there, get them dedicated, compensate them, and then you can hold them accountable as opposed to people that are, quote, volunteering because they don't want to deal with the criticism, and I don't blame them. But my idea is, like, let's make this like a Wheel of Fortune thing. Let's put up 8 of them, and instead of going like 8 and work to 1 or 1 to work to 8, let's pop up 8, and then we'll pop up 3, and then we'll pop up 5 and try to figure out who's in those little windows.
But here's the crazy thing. They went to 7. At number 8 is unbeaten Oklahoma, and no one talks about the Sooners being unbeaten and ranked 8th.
Yeah, and they had a bye last week, to be fair, so they didn't play.
They didn't lose.
And they didn't move.
They didn't lose. That's my point. No one's talking about that.
They shouldn't have been placed at number 8 to begin with, so I'm not okay with that, but the fact that they didn't move them after they didn't play, I'm okay with that aspect.
You agree with me, though?
The other piece of that, too, is you have 2 undefeated teams that are sitting there. We make a huge deal about Cincinnati and talking about strength of schedule. They've beaten Notre Dame and everything. Yeah, we got it. And the rest of their schedule isn't great. Oklahoma hasn't played a great schedule. But, no one's talking about them at 8th. And they're a team that's been in the college football playoff. They've had
year after year.
Back-to-back Heisman Trophy winners. They've had all of these things.
Yeah.
that you look at and say, these are the trappings of success that a good program should have. It's like, they're eighth. And if they lose to Baylor today, you know what? We'll drop down the top 10.
And then everyone will say, see, we told you so. We told you so.
We knew it. We knew it all along.
Yeah.
We were at the LSU-Alabama game last week.
Oh,
so the next topic is going to be based solely on that because we were in the Farmfolio suite. Shout out to those guys once again for letting us do that. But they were not very happy Alabama fans throughout a stretch of that game. So fact or fiction, we should be concerned about the Alabama offense after what we saw against LSU.
I think there's some room to be concerned because this isn't the team that we've seen the last couple of years that's like, hey, maybe we'll run it for 250 today. Maybe we'll throw it for 400 today. And it seemed like they could kind of do anything they've wanted. They've had Heisman Trophy winners at running back.
Yep.
They've had Heisman Trophy winners at receiver now. You know, the quarterback, they've always had the big dominant offensive line. Well, against Texas A&M, that offensive line, it didn't look so dominant. There were some chinks in the armor. There was some seepage coming through. You know, Bryce Young didn't look all that comfortable. They couldn't get the running game established. And so I've watched some of these games, and a guy who I watched a lot while he was at Ohio State who's transferred in, who's kind of bailed them out sometimes with some big-time plays. If you take Jameson Williams off that offense, I think they may even have another loss because he's a guy that's provided a lot of big plays and sparks when they've needed to get critical yards.
I can't tell you their identity on offense. Eddie Lacy, Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, they don't have that guy in the backfield. That was their identity. Bryce Young is very good. Their offensive line I don't trust. But here's the big thing. It's not about their offense. It is about it's the composure. It's the poise. I am seeing week to week special teams miscues. They start the fourth quarter with 12 men on the field. In week 10, I've never seen that from a Nick Saban coach team. Maybe once or twice throughout the season, and he goes ballistic, and you don't hear about it again, right? This is a weekly occurrence with this group where they have a personal foul, they rough the punter, and then Tennessee keeps the football, and they go down and score on the very next play. There are small things that will get them beat in the college football playoff. They're very good, but are they the Alabama of 2 years ago, 3 years? No, they're not, because they have these mental miscues week in, week out, and a lot of them happen on offense.
Which, one of the things that's very uncharacteristic for a Nick Saban team, and so talking to a lot of guys, they're like, they'll get this fixed. Nick always gets it fixed.
Yeah.
However, now, we're sitting here, and it's week 11, there's 3 games left, and some of these issues still keep creeping up, and so then you begin to ask yourself, well, maybe it's some of the players that they have out there, they're just not as disciplined, there might be some issues, and we always think they're correctable. Maybe this is just kind of who this team is at this point.
And it feels like this is a different Nick Saban, right? I think that he understands what his team is more, because when you see him post-game in these interviews, he's not, a Nick Saban, if we had all of these issues that we're talking about in week 10 going ballistic, right? But I think that he understands the product that he has right now. He's still trying to make it better week in and week out, but coming to reality that this isn't the team from 2-3 years ago.
Well, but they're still capable of knocking off the Georgia Bulldogs. I still want to watch that game, right? They're just not. It's not a shoo-in that they're in the playoff now.
Right.
Because if they lose one more, I don't think they're making it, like I was certain of earlier this season on the Tailgate Show.
Well, and what you talked about identity.
Yeah.
I think it's identity and consistency. And they put together a great half. All of a sudden, they're struggling. Whoosh, they can take care of a game and they can get it done. But those are things with Nick Saban. Always highly consistent, and you always felt like they had identity on both sides of the ball.
The closest thing I saw to identity was against Ole Miss. We were there for that too. And they ran the ball right at that Ole Miss defense, right? And we were thinking shootout, and they turned around and handed Robinson, and he ran for 250 that day. Haven't seen that guy since.